Hello, dear friends. Tolerating criticism is part of a politician's job, said Arturo Pérez Reverte. Opinion piece. Reset in January. It's not payday. Stealthy change. Transition phase. Parallel structure. It won't be sudden. Silent development. Replacement system. Collapse without panic. Let's start. January 1st, 2026 is the beginning of an execution, not the end of a wait. That day marks the point where preparation transforms into structure. What many call the financial reset doesn't unfold overnight. It works through a gradual alignment in the legal, financial, and administrative spheres. The year of the 30 moons begins with the Wolf Moon on January 3rd in the sign of Cancer. From this moment on, legacy systems cease to expand, and the new frameworks begin to prevail. The debt mechanism, tax models, and banking structures are entering a phase of review and restructuring. The focus is on correction, not chaos. This isn't payday. It's not a media event. It's a systemic reset point. The changes will be subtle. Simplified financial regulations, gradual closures and measures, new rules, and new asset accounting. The GSRA program unfolds as a process. Those who follow the headlines won't see it. Those who observe the systems will recognize it. Stay grounded. Be patient. True transitions aren't announced. They unfold. Restructuring. The January 2026 reset has been embedded in internal financial systems for months, according to Ethan White of Gay-Stellar. What begins in January is not a soft adjustment, but the most calculated economic restructuring in history. Synchronized with this window are the controlled liquidation of fiat currency, the confiscation of off-the-books accounts held by elite, and the dismantling of the debt network built under the globalist regime. He adds that debt forgiveness frameworks are already active in internal systems. Gold-backed readjustment records are being processed. Discrete asset repatriation orders have been activated through private treasury channels. Clearances, previously made through clearing banks, are now conducted exclusively through blockchain-based index systems. The so-called golden token, presented as a gesture of appreciation, is nothing of the sort. It was designed as a priority verification marker directly connected to the QFS distribution networks and asset delivery protocols. By the time the world realizes the economic cage has vanished, you will already be operating outside of it. Transition phase. What the public sees is a delay. What is actually happening is a replacement. The global financial system, based on fiat debt, is falling, and the new structure is already taking over behind the scenes. Basel III compliance is active. The revaluation mechanism is in motion. The quantum financial system is no longer theoretical. It's online. Basel III reclassified physical gold as Tier 1 asset, putting it on equal footing with cash reserves. This simple change rewrites the rules of global banking. Gold is no longer a hedge, it is the foundation. Unlike fiat currencies, gold cannot be printed, inflated, or eliminated through policy. That is why central banks are rushing to rebuild their reserves, not out of preference, but out of necessity. The next system requires real value, not promises. A global currency revaluation is quietly underway. Asset-backed nations are rebalancing their currencies. based on tangible reserves such as energy, minerals, and production capacity. This exposes the imbalance between real wealth and artificially inflated fiat systems. Currencies that had long been written off are being revalued, while leveraged systems face contraction. This is not about sudden wealth. It's about restoring the proportional value of the global economy. Basel Z is not optional. It requires banks to hold real assets and disclose their exposure. Derivatives manipulation and shadow banking structures are being dismantled through compliance requirements. Institutions that cannot comply are being phased out. This is how the old system collapses, without panic, through regulation that eliminates its ability to conceal. Replacement system. The quantum financial system is not an upgrade. It is a parallel structure designed to replace traditional banking. Based on encrypted records and instant settlement, the QFS eliminates fraud at the transaction level. Every transaction is linked to an asset. Every move is traceable. Every attempt at manipulation fails. This new system is already operating alongside the old one. The change will be seen sudden when the transition is complete, but in reality, it has been prepared well in advance. Gold regains its value. Revaluation corrects the imbalance. Basel Z enforces the truth, and the QFS offers transparency. This is not fragmentation, it is coordination. A debt-based economy cannot survive this change. That is why silence dominates the media. The transition does not require conviction. It requires completion. The reset is not coming. It is already underway. By the time the public realizes what has changed, the structure will already be in place. The future is asset-backed, verified, and irreversible. Reset news. The storm continues as the coalition executes the final phase. This transition is not noisy. It is precise, controlled, and irreversible. The greatest awakening in history is approaching, bringing justice and liberation for all. The global monetary reset has entered its irreversible activation stage within the impenetrable quantum financial system QFS. Elon Musk says there is no need to save money because universal high income is coming. Media Grid reports that Level 4B exchange houses will be operational. Dinar and bond holders are flooding banks in response to the quantum tests of the financial system. The December solstice is a wonderful time to open yourself to the energy coming from Mother Earth, the Sun, and visitors from the stars, according to Daniel Scranton. The Great Jubilee of Liberation envisions 2026 as a transformative year of liberation, land restoration, debt forgiveness, and the announcement of a divine reset toward peace, equity, and hopeful redemption. December. This is a repetition. The Great Jubilee of Liberation, another repetition. Charlie Watt says that the old system is coming to an end and the new one is in operation. What the public sees are delays. What is happening is a replacement. For years, it was said that the dollar was strong, that gold was obsolete, that revaluation was a fantasy, and that the QFS was science fiction. But that narrative is collapsing. The global financial system based on fiat debt is failing, and the new structure is taking over behind the scenes. The mechanisms for currency revaluation are in motion. The QFS is no longer theoretical, it is online. Breaking news. Trump signs an executive order reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug, but will not legalize its recreational use. In quotes, Marijuana can be legitimate in terms of medical applications if administered carefully, the president said. Trump says he will soon announce the next head of the Federal Reserve. Trump signs an executive order setting the return to the moon for 2028. The US faces difficulties recruiting young people. In quotes, they are too fat or too dumb, it is said. Economy. Will they prohibit or restrict the purchase of silver? The solar energy boom is driving a surge in demand for silver, pushing its price above $66. Asia. Thailand and Cambodia agreed to halt their confrontation according to Trump. China's metaverse theater blurs reality so much that its simulation causes people to lose their balance. Europe. Zelensky abandons his demand for NATO membership. Zelensky is struggling to avoid elections in Ukraine, says an analyst. Zelensky cannot set foot in Ukraine without being attacked by his own army, according to Fulford. London is considering pressuring the US to derail a deal on Ukraine. Trump faces a death threat from Zelensky and a secret Russian weapon, according to Sorjafal. Europe threatens to bomb the dollar if Trump ends the war in Ukraine, according to Sorjafal. Ursula is beaming after meeting with Zelensky in Berlin. She says that seizing Russian assets and providing military support to Kiev is the path to peace. The Russian central bank will demand compensation from European banks for freezing its assets. Hungary has criminalized NGO assistance to illegal immigrants. It has dubbed the law the Stop Soros Law. Farmers and police clash near the European Parliament in Brussels. Farmers block Brussels over the Mercosur agreement and possible aid cuts. France and Italy view the Mercosur agreement with reservations, and Brazil issues an ultimatum. Agricultural protests in France, road blockades over bovine dermatosis and Mercosur. Madrid, new headquarters of the World Travel and Tourism Council Global Office. Americas. Argentina reaches a record number of adoptions and foster placements. The Argentine government succeeds in passing its 2026 budget. Argentine unions protest in Buenos Aires against labor reform. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.